Welcome everyone to this webinar of the UK Fintech Week 2026. This is one of our pre-mission sessions. My name is Angela Stathi, and I'm also here with my co-founder, Ricardo Viella from Brazil Tech Connect. Together, we are part of the Brazil Tech Connect team. My name is Angela, as I mentioned, and I am an advisor in deep tech. I support businesses throughout my role at Brazil Tech Connect, as well as the European Commission 10 billion euros Innovation Fund. My other function is also a deal maker at the Office for Investments here in the UK, which is very much working with a mission to attract the best entrepreneurs with high potential scale-up businesses here in the UK. So we're looking for businesses that are in the growth phase, and they are within sectors such as the financial services, clean tech, energy, digital tech, and life science. Today, I have two incredible guests, as you see on your screens, who will help us really understand what really means to take a business like a LATAM fintech business here in London. So I'm going to just tell you that today's session will be about 60 to 75 minutes, and you have the opportunity to ask your questions. There's a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen, you will see, and you can ask all the questions you wish during the session. Please feel free to do it. We will pick up the questions throughout the session, but also in the end, if you feel more comfortable to ask then. This session is recorded and will be available afterwards for you to replay it and listen to it in our social media channels. So with us today, we have some amazing people joining us. So from LATAM FinTech founders, executives and teams who are registered to our UK FinTech trade mission, but also we have individuals that are curious to hear more about what it is to take a business internationally. So before we dive into today's session, I would like to take 2 minutes to tell you a little bit what Brazil Tech Connect is. So I'll ask Ricardo if he can share some of our slides. So we have created this Brazil Tech Connect very much to help entrepreneurs take their business internationally. And we very much dedicated ourselves to connect the Brazilian, LATAM, and international ecosystems with the UK and European landscape. So we work with who? We work with founders, we work with large corporates, investors, institutions that are really looking to create this bridge internationally and create opportunities for their business. So Ricardo, if you don't mind sharing the following slides. So this is the ecosystem, and this is the type of activities that we do. So we do a number of immersion activities like this one with the UK Fintech Week. So who is Brazil Tech Connect? That's our next slide. So Brazil Tech Connect works with really highly experienced people that have a very cross-border expertise in fintech, deep tech, and as well investments in growth companies. So the leadership team includes myself as well as Ricardo, but we are very much supported by very strong advisors that are drawn from really great organizations like the Connected Places, Catapult, individuals from Digital, Catapult, and London and Partners. So together, this really great team has been building these opportunities for you today. So just a few words about the UK FinTech Mission, which is our flagship program and is taking place on the 20th to the 24th of April. And this is very much designed for you FinTech businesses that are looking to seriously take your business internationally. And this mission is, as you can see, has a number of very interesting meetings. It starts with meetings with regulators on the first day, and it follows with opportunities to network with investors and serious entrepreneurs and stakeholders here in the UK. So it's structured really to take your business to from the very early stages to where you're thinking, is that for me to take my business to the UK, to yes, who should I contact in order to make the next steps? So this is really a snapshot of our program, which the first day is the Regulators Day, and then Innovate Finance Summit, London Stock Exchange on the 22nd of April. Thursday we have the event at the Canning House, as you can see. So a number of great opportunities for you to network. So our partners, we should not miss our partners. Our partners range from the Department of Business and Trade, London and Partners, AB, Fintech, Canning House, EBS, Gunn & Cook, Level 39, Citigroup. So this mission couldn't be possible without our delighted partners. So that is our mission. But I wanted to, as I mentioned, share just a few things about the Global Entrepreneurs Program, which is a UK program here dedicated to help entrepreneurs bring their businesses in the UK. So this is a program that has been developed with a mission really to take the best caliber businesses that are in a scale-up phase to the UK. So we work really with innovative businesses that are serious and very interested to establish either their headquarters or a branch of their business in the UK. So in the following slides, just very, very quickly, I would like to show some examples of businesses that we are interested in having in the UK. So you will see here that it tends to be scale-up businesses with a number of revenues already, and those that have really strong teams and also networks of opportunities for them to grow in the UK, or those looking to list in the UK stock market. So now that we've done that, I think it will be worth for you to see that this is a serious program and the impact, it says it all in the slides. Very happy to, for those who are interested to find out more about it, we can take this in another call. On the next slide, you will see some great examples of businesses that have been part of this program and have been very successful. So I hope to see your business as well join this program. So without further ado, I would like to take us through these incredible speakers of today. So we have, let's start from my right. I have John on my right. So John is the former British Consul General to São Paulo. So John has this incredible work that he has been Her Majesty's Consular General for São Paulo. He led a team of 80 people, 5 Brazilian cities, and he also had the tenure of exporting British export to Brazil, and also he has been very much supportive of UK operations in the world. So before that, he has been in senior roles at the UK Trade and Investment, at the Department Trade and Industry. He has worked in Shell International. More recently, he's working with organizations like the UN International Trade Center, Cambridge Business School, and supporting as well Brazilian companies' expansion to the UK. So as you can see, John, really impressive background. And of course, we have Sergio. And Sergio is a former head of Invest São Paulo. Yes, and that is the São Paulo's investment and promotion agency. And his executive capacity, Sergio and his international investment promotion agency, they've attracted the incredible $22 billion in investments. So this is really not negligible. So I'm very much looking forward to hear all about that. And not only that, he has helped create 80,000 jobs. So this is really very incredible, positioning São Paulo as an international destination in Latin America. Today, Sergio is leading Strings, and he will tell us what Strings is all about it as well. And he works with businesses and investment agencies across 4 continents, from UK and Finland to South Korea and New Zealand. So he's helping them expand internationally and land into the new markets. So really, really impressive team today. I'm very honored to have you both, John and Sergio, in this call today. So I will start because I think we have some really, really, really great people here and loads of questions for me to ask you. I'm going to start with John. Is that okay, John?
Yes, please.
Excellent. So, John, you've seen the UK LATAM, you overseen, right? The UK LATAM relationships from inside the government. You've done trades, you've done investments. I'm really wondering now, John, what's the biggest misconception LATAM founders have about the UK market? What is, in your view, that?
Well, first of all, Angela, can I say thank you very much for inviting me to participate in the webinar today. It's a great honor to be with you and share the platform with Sergio, my good friend Sergio as well. You're asking about the biggest misconception or most common. I mean, I think it's kind of assuming that the business model that works well in LATAM will automatically apply and be replicable in the UK. I mean, for me, that's the biggest misconception. The problem that it solves in LATAM may not even be a problem in the UK, so that needs to be verified first.
So what is you think then, John? You say it's a misconception. So give us an example, because you say that, okay, so a LATAM business thinking to come and they think, oh, let's take what we're doing in LATAM or anywhere else in the world and let's replicate that in the UK. You're saying that this does not happen that smoothly? What should they do, really?
It doesn't. I mean, I think it needs to be tested before bringing the model to the UK, and where necessary, adapted. You're asking about examples. I said one, for example, the problem that they're solving in LATAM may not even exist in the UK. It may be a problem related to infrastructure in LATAM, which, UK's got pretty good infrastructure, may not be a problem in the UK. Another issue might be around quality, something that works well in LATAM because it's aimed to be low price, may come across badly in the UK and be perceived as low quality. So these kinds of things all need to be looked at and addressed.
And would you say then, in that case, for somebody to be successful, would you say that it would be worth to contact people like yourself or organizations like Brazil Tech Connect, or even like coming and visiting a trade mission would be worth doing at least an experimentation of what good looks like to understand the market? What will you say the next steps will be for somebody taking their business internationally?
Yeah, networking is crucial, I would say, Angela, and building up partnerships and friendships, and testing the model with other people. And some of this can be done without actually visiting the country, and I think it's probably good practice to do a bit online or by calls such as this before first booking the airfare.
Very important.
If you allow
yes,
me
Sergio.
To step up
a little that bit. Is Ricardo. Right.
Yes. Well, actually, it's amazing what John said, because we truly believe also that there are some misconceptions about what doing business abroad is for any company going international. They may assume that some stereotypes are valid cross-border, which are not true. So I would add a point that, first of all, relationships do matter in the UK when doing business in the UK. But the difference that they go through different pathways that probably people from LATAM are used to going through, so I suggest companies to do it in a more structured way, in a more understanding the etiquette that goes along with it when going to another country, and making sure that you do it in a more subtle but intentional way. You have to be intentional in everything you do, not just going to cocktails, to rooftop parties, or going to events without being prepared, having your sales pitch on the tip of your tongue, as we say here in Brazil, and making sure that you will be able to communicate value to that. Another thing that I would like to add is that you may consider London as a gateway, but keep your eyes throughout the whole UK, not just being there. You might get surprised by the opportunities that are in other locations other than London, but definitely start from London. That's I would say. And by the way, STRINGS stands for Strategy Investments Global Business. So we pull the right strings to make things happen.
Pull the right strings to make it happen. That's a super good quote. And I love what you both said, actually, your tips to network, but not network just for the sake of networking with a purpose. Yes, throughout our trade mission and with Brazil Tech Connect, we're bringing companies internationally, and we have indeed networking sessions, but we also have opportunities with regulators to be discussing, and also with counterparties, even law firms and accountancies for setting up if a business is not yet set up here. So, and yes, indeed, having your elevator pitch is super important, no matter what stage of your business you are, because it is how you communicate the message, the mission you are bringing to the people you are interacting with. So now, Sergio, that you started sharing your insights, I have the honor to ask you my question, which is, you mentioned in your bio that you've helped attract 21 billion into São Paulo. Okay, so that is a really an impressive amount of 21 billion US dollars, right? It's not a negligible amount. So when you look at this UK-Brazil corridor today, what, in your view, feels really fundamentally different from what you've done 5 to 10 years ago? Because that's when you were working in this business. How different it is what you've done then and what it is today?
Well, first of all, we had Brexit. It's just completing 10 years now since the referendum was, took place. And at that time, we were looking at the UK much more as a part of the European Union. And overnight, it changed totally from its perspective. And we began seeing the UK as a market by itself, considering that from the UK, you can reach out to the whole Commonwealth. So this got a very broader perspective. And it forced us to see that the UK started to develop its own international trade relationships with other regions and countries. So this was important for Brazil and for LATAM to take into consideration. This is part of it. And in these past 5 years, I have seen the UK change in its perspective, not just being a hub for capital, but also in financing, but also a hub which was consistently and intentionally seeking for new solutions that are designed overseas. And I see this as a very positive change in the relationship. And I see that companies which do planning more planning, dedicate themselves to planning their next steps towards developing a strategy for the UK, they will become certainly the winners or those who will benefit more from this new trend that I have seen. And before you needed to prove that you belonged, to be considered. Now, if you come to the UK addressing a problem and showing that you know how to solve it, then you get all the attention from the investors and the market will be open to you.
You're so right, and I liked what you mentioned, that this Brexit actually created an opportunity for the UK to become this international hub and take control of what they can and cannot do, of course. But it's also this hub for which if you are somewhere outside the UK, you actually you want to be closer to Asia, or you want to be closer to Europe. You use the UK as your hub for this internationalization. So this is really, really, really important. Can I tell us a little bit, if you don't mind, this helping attract 21 billion into São Paulo, because that was inward investment into a LATAM country, which can be difficult sometimes. How did you make this happen?
Well, first of all, communication is key when doing business worldwide. So I made sure that I would be able to communicate myself very well in English, have a very good understanding of the location and why São Paulo state would be more attractive to foreign direct investment than other regions of Brazil. You know that Brazil has lagging and leading and lagging regions. So you have to make sure that you find the perfect match between what a location offers and try to reach out to potential companies seeking, showing them and communicating to them the value of and the need for them for being here. So likewise, when we promote London as a destination, we know exactly what London offers. And I love the people from London and partners. They are amazing at what they do as well. So it goes beyond the pictures of images you have from postcards, from Instagram, from touristic points. It shows the business environment as it is. Another thing that is important when attracting those 21 billion, I did not did it only by myself. I had the whole team, but we were aligned, and I was telling them, let's communicate and walk the talk, and communicate what I call share with them credibility. If you promise something, honor your word. Do what you promised. And something that I often tell also foreign investors, it's often hard to get a no from a Brazilian. We usually say, yeah, I'm checking this, we're not. So make sure that yes means yes and no means no. And I think this is also key when doing business worldwide with any nationality that you visit. And nowadays, we have so many cosmopolitan cities like London, São Paulo, New York, Tokyo. It's different. So we have to be able to honor what we promise, bring to the table clarity about what is given in terms of tax incentives, support systems, and what the conditions are for you to have access to those support systems. And make sure that you are less transactional and more intentional at everything you do.
I like this, less transactional and more intentional. I really like this. And communication is key. That's the other quote I got really nicely from what you said. So now I'm going to ask you both, because I think this question really deserves both to be asked. If you had to describe the Brazil, LATAM, UK business corridor in one sentence, what would that be? I'm going to ask with John first, since you had more time to think while Sergio was speaking with me.
Well, it's quite difficult to put it all into one sentence, but I mean, I would say growing rapidly with trade and investment in both directions, but yet to achieve its full potential.
Growing rapidly, but yet to achieve full potential. Right. A bit encrypted there, but there is some messages there in the encryption. So Sergio, what about you? What would you say?
I would say, just adding to a former question, I think the one sentence would be from opportunistic trade to strategic two-way innovation partnerships.
Opportunistic to strategic partnerships.
two-way partnerships.
Two-way partnerships. It's not a one-way street. It's a two-way street where two parties collaborate and win-win through this partnership, right? It's not a one-way street. So I quite like that. So growing with great potential and great opportunities with a two-way partnership. Amazing. Wonderful. So now I have, and either of you can answer this, but before I carry on with my prepared questions, I want to ask if anyone has any questions that are in the audience. Please reminding everyone that you have the Q&A section that you can ask the questions there, and I'm sure Ricardo or the Brazil Tech Connect team can walk us through the questions and we can take those. But until we have any of the questions, I don't see any yet on the panel, but if we do, I'm sure the team will notify us. So please make sure to ask your questions. So next in my prepared remarks and questions, I'm going to go through the opportunities, like, because I know the people in this call, they're very, very keen to get opportunities. And if they are to travel all the way to the UK, what is there to offer, right? So I want to ask you both, where do you see the strongest and most immediate opportunities for an international business, but also for LATAM business coming to the UK right now? And my other question will be, so think of these two, will be which sectors or regions, and I know Sergio already started thinking about the regions because he mentioned that in his previous answer, you would consider the most important ones for innovators to explore when they come. Is it London the best place, or should it be somewhere else? So over to you. Who would like to go first? John?
Yeah, shall I go first? Yeah. Well, I could, I think, highlight three areas of opportunity to begin with. I'm sure that Sergio and others can add to this, but I'd highlight clean energy. One, Brazil, as we know, is a real world leader in clean energy. UK is committed to net zero and needs the technology and expertise that it can bring in from Brazil and from the rest of LATAM. Second, I would say agribusiness. Again, LATAM, I'm thinking particularly of Brazil. Forgive me, my knowledge is mainly Brazil. I know we've got people from other LATAM countries joining us, but my knowledge is mainly Brazil. But in the UK, there's a strong demand for sustainable, ethically produced agricultural premium products. And then there's also an interest in the technology that is being used in Brazilian agriculture, the use of drones, the technology behind irrigation, all of this sort of really interesting and relevant. And finally, I would say financial services, huge areas of opportunity. Just to pick one example, there's the area of remittances. UK is home to diasporas from many countries in the world, and they're very interested in remittances. Brazil has a knowledge of financial services in this area. The thing is to adapt it and to make it relevant to the UK needs. So those are my three to kick off the conversation.
Energy, agri-tech, fintech, and related businesses, and adaptation. And financial services, yes.
Yeah.
And areas in London or elsewhere?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, Sergio mentioned early on that London is really the entry point and is by far the biggest innovation hub in the country, I have to say. But it does make sense to go beyond London. And the second biggest innovation hub, I would say, is Manchester, technology hub outside London, Manchester. So, it makes a lot of sense to go to Manchester. I could go on. Cambridge, of course, city that's home to one of the best universities in the world and has a fantastic, science park and spin-offs coming out of the universities. In the east of England, there's a lot of emphasis on agribusiness, agriculture, agricultural technology, innovation in that area. And finally, from me, I would talk about Scotland as well. When we're thinking of energy transition, there's a lot of interest, a lot of work going on in cities like Aberdeen and Edinburgh in that area too.
Wow, excellent.
Many
John,
places, Sergio.
Well, John almost left me without any options of cities, but fortunately I have some to add, my friend. Well, I think in terms of sectors, I also I fully agree with John, but I have listed here for the fintechs, taking into consideration that fintechs in Brazil are used to stressed environments and highly regulated environments. So it makes them able to scale up in any part of the world, literally. And climate tech, agreed, agri-tech. And I would add also, because of LATAM, you will have huge mining assets. So mining companies also from the UK could benefit, and they are already here, benefit from rare earths, mining. But I would add AI. We have huge Brazilian companies investing a lot of money in developing AI. And so if we incorporate AI to all these sectors, either traditional or innovative sectors, this is also an opportunity that I see that can be easily applicable, including for agribusiness, agri-tech, anything that is tech related. You can consider Brazilian companies as extremely well positioned to bring in solutions. And in terms of locations in the UK, I would also add Edinburgh, like fintech, Birmingham in advanced manufacturing, which is also important, and Cambridge deep tech. By the way, I should have not missed Durham, my lovely city where we have the Dubs, Durham University Business School. So I would also include them as a knowledge base. That's it.
Summary, many cities to explore. Certainly London for financial center, but many other opportunities there to be considered. And as of sectors, there are opportunities in mining, agro, clean tech, financial services, and as well, not to forget anything which is AI. And I will add quantum as well, which is also a big investment that is happening from the UK government. We have some questions on the chat, so I'm going to take some of those and then we can deep dive later in our prepared questions. So I have Frederico here, Suarez, who is asking us, what does the UK need to learn? And now it's the other way around, from LATAM in order to embrace the opportunity of entrepreneurial. So entrepreneurial growth stage startup ecosystem has to offer. So I know PICs in fintech. Is there any others that UK and others could learn from? Who would like to answer this question?
Yeah, I mean, I think you said it, AI, I think, is an area where I've seen a lot of activity in Brazil. The financial services, the PIX system is a absolute world leader. It's an amazing the speed at which that took off. I mean, I think the UK has something to learn about the speed of bringing new innovation through, actually, which seems to me to be something that Brazil is very good at.
Yes, definitely.
Very good.
And one thing that we have been using AI also is for highly regulated, parts of operations in companies. So it's really applied AI, not just the thesis or the theory, but actually AI bringing solutions that you can be applicable to any context around the world. So I think this capacity to be quick at adapting these new technology and incorporating them in the business procedures of any companies. This is something that Brazil also and companies in LATAM can also bring to the UK.
Very good. Very good. We have some further questions, so I'm not going to add to your question. So instead, I'm going to ask the other questions we have here. If you were advising a startup today with limited resources, where would you focus first when entering a new country?
Can I?
Yes, go for it, Sergio.
Okay. I think that it's important that you plan your strategy, design your strategy, take time with desk research, and now you can use the artificial intelligence to do some research for you without spending a single penny on that. So don't waste your money with plane tickets and having expenses in British pounds without planning, because you have to plan carefully where you're going to be there, who you're going to visit, what you're bringing in as a solution, and making sure that you build a solid business agenda that would justify the investment of even traveling to the UK. That's what I would suggest, so that when you invest your limited resources, you know exactly what you're doing with those resources and what results you expect from that, and also learn from your mistakes. If you do not succeed in everything, in some parts of it, analyze what you did wrong, what could have been done better, and then plan again. So plan, plan, plan.
Plan. Planning too many squares, isn't it? And also be agile to rectify and learn from your learnings. It's like it's almost like a circle, right? If you do one step and things do not work, don't go further in deeping yourself even worse to the situation, but actually go backwards, change things, change the course, and then take the next step. So be more agile to your situation, and planning is key. I have another question now. Marco Antonio is asking, what are the hidden costs and financial or cultural that companies often overlook? I know Sergio, I believe, or John mentioned about the cultural etiquettes. Who would like to answer that? The hidden costs.
John, go ahead.
Yeah, well, gosh, the hidden costs for a business. I think if you get the cultural side wrong, then there can be a huge cost there. And, forgive me, it's something that I do talk about quite a bit, but it's kind of punctuality for people coming to the UK. British partners expect people to arrive on time for meetings. And if a foreign company is not able to arrive on time, it may have cost them the deal. It may have cost them the partnership. So I think this is a big cultural difference. I know in parts of the world, including Brazil, if you're delayed, then it's due to the traffic and so on, and doesn't matter too much. You rearrange the meeting, you get on with things. But people in the UK do attach quite a lot of importance. That's why it's called Punctualidade Britannica, isn't it, for people? But maybe it's a little bit of a preoccupation. Maybe we should be a little bit more relaxed about timing. But the fact is that British people generally are not very relaxed about timing, and that can be a big cost to people coming in from other countries and not appreciating that point.
Yes,
John.
I would add also.
Yes.
John, the fact that when you come to the UK, thinking that your solution is unique, so unique that you overlook the competitors, this is also a hidden cost or a major mistake that a company going abroad may make. So this is something also to be considered. So come with confidence on your solution, but knowing exactly the ground you're stepping in, because you may get surprised by seeing competitors far away or far ahead of you in terms of solutions and business practices in the UK.
I would say do your homework with what you're saying, your competitors and everything. Be aware of the cultural etiquettes, as John said. Do your homework and understand the ecosystem before you come. Spending money in a plane ticket or actually even setting up your business here can add to costs that are prohibited perhaps for a business, despite the fact being a scale up somewhere else, perhaps here will be quite expensive. Because these are hidden costs, perhaps you haven't even considered. And I'm going to share here, John has actually written a guide to commercial diplomacy. And I know, John, perhaps you want to talk about that, but John, you actually developed that. Is that with the UN?
Yeah, International Trade Council, which is an agency of the United Nations. And this guide to commercial diplomacy is really for aimed at commercial diplomats from developing countries who are advising their companies how to do business internationally. And there is a chapter in it on cultural differences, actually. And the picture that we start the chapter with is quite interesting because it has a Japanese gentleman reaching out his hand to shake hands, and a Western-looking gentleman with his hands together bowing and so the two have adopted each other's cultural, but they're not quite making the connection in that point. And that's just an example of how one needs to research the cultural differences and be aware of them and understand them. And when visiting another country, really have respect for the local culture. There's an old saying, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. And I think that applies in the business world very much.
Oh, yes, indeed. I like that. When in Rome, do like the Romans. Indeed, indeed. And I highly recommend people read this section because etiquettes of cultural interactions are very important. And sometimes these are the first interaction you will have with somebody and will unlock these opportunities, especially for people like you in this call that are individuals that are doing global business and are keen to expand. These are really very important tips that John and Sergio are sharing here today, but also in this guide that is available for free for you to read. So I have another question here. Which sectors are overhyped and generally promising right now?
Well, if you allow me, I think
Yes.
one sector which has overhyped in the recent years is anything regarding sustainability. And there was a large distance between speech and action. And also because not all sustainability projects were really sustainable from the financial standpoint. So I think this is one of the sectors which needs to be carefully reviewed and considered, including for funding, because many investment funds had their credit lines or financing solutions for sustainability projects, which ended up seeing no results. We had problems with greenwashing, as people say. So the idea is that now they're more skeptical and seeking really for sustainability from a more down-to-earth kind of thinking. That's what I believe.
Sustainability and the greenwashing was a space, and not being clear to the message how sustainable indeed was something. And I believe a lot of geopolitically, a lot of policies have changed throughout the last couple of months, and sustainability sometimes shifted. And if I may ask as well, AI has had these glorious moments of was that a hype or not? And I don't know if you care to comment on this, either John or Sergio.
Well, I'd just like to build on a point that Sergio was making, because I think that that green hydrogen is very much an example of something that sort of became really hyped up. And I know Brazil has done quite a lot on green hydrogen, but it was then thinking that it would be replicated all over the world. And in fact, you know, to a degree, the bottom fell out of the green hydrogen market. It was found not to live up to all the promises, and it went down in people's estimations. I think it'll probably come up again, but for the moment it went down. I mean, sadly, a sector that's getting the news at the moment is defence, isn't it? And a lot of government budgets, because of the difficulties in the geopolitical climate at the moment, and conflict in the Middle East, in Ukraine and elsewhere. A lot of countries are having to divert money into defence, and that in turn opens up opportunities for companies operating in that sector.
Indeed. I mean, the way I see it, and although, you know, it's not easy circumstances, but every challenge that an economy faces, whatever the economy it is, it creates these opportunities you wouldn't even have imagined before. And sometimes a country that are facing this challenge comes with innovations, and I mean, take it COVID. I mean, there are so many vaccines that got developed because of that. The whole chain of operations changed completely, or the way we've interacted with each other. So certainly it's not great when there is geopolitical changes, but sometimes these are giving these opportunities that we haven't even thought of. So let's now change a little bit and make the spirits a little bit high. I'm going to ask punchy, memorable questions to you. London or São Paulo for innovation? Which country, which region, which city would you say? And this is a question for both of you.
Well, I mean, the answer's got to be both. Surely. Perhaps for different reasons. London to get the funding that you need, the private equity, venture capital, whatever it is. London is a real financial hub, and that's where you go. I think you've got a bit more regulatory certainty if you come to London compared to Brazil. Low cost is definitely São Paulo, lower cost than London. Access to skilled labour, not sure. Maybe London has the slight edge, but I'm very impressed with the quality of people in São Paulo. And just, you know, as an aside, when I worked in Shell, the people who were most respected in the corporate center of Shell International were the Brazilians. Actually, they were very highly regarded. Yeah.
There you go. Before Sergio responds to that one, I'm going to go back to you, John, because you talked about talent and regions and opportunities, right? So I'm wondering here, if you were to take London, and what would you say the UK government support? I mean, I've mentioned the Global Entrepreneurs Program for scale-up businesses, but what are the programs, opportunities do companies have when they come to the UK, John?
Yeah, well, the starting point is that the UK is very keen to attract inward investment into the UK, just as Sergio was keen to attract investment into São Paulo. So the UK is very keen to attract investment in. We have the Department for Business and Trade, whose job is to promote the UK overall. We have a very good person in the British consulate in São Paulo, Cristiano Andrade, who helps a lot investors wanting to come in. And there are representatives of DBT in most of the embassies and the consulates in the region. So I think they're a good starting point. Coming into London, you have people like London and Partners who are there and able. Sergio mentioned them early on as a real model of expertise, best practice. I have nothing but the highest respect from the advice that they can give. That's if you feel London is the right venue for you. But equally, the other cities have. I mean, you've got Scottish Development and Industry, SDI for Scotland, very much promoting Scotland. And if you're into renewable energy, clean energy, do look at Scotland. You've got Midas for Manchester.
Absolutely.
Again, very, very good. When I was in São Paulo, there were regular visitors trying to attract investors into Manchester. I'm sure that Brazilian investors would be really welcome. So all of these organizations can offer support and help. There's a long list of them. DBT can signpost you, and they can help you decide which part of the UK is best for you to come to. And once you've got that decision taken, then they can refer you to the relevant regional or city development organization to advise you on what benefits might be available in terms of, renting an office, a landing point when you first arrive. They may give you a free office space for a certain amount of time, these kinds of incentives. But the one thing I would say is, be a little bit careful about these incentives, because you might end up going to the wrong destination. I think really look at, where it makes business sense to be located and go with that. The offer of a free office may last for a few months, but it's not worth getting this decision wrong just because of that offer.
Indeed. So now we have only 3-4 minutes left, and I have some closing remarks as well. So my last question to both of you is, in one word, to describe the LATAM UK corridor. And you can take, I know you both work with LATAM, but I know, Sergio, you work with other nations and regions. So please feel free to add anything you wish. But the international corridor for trade, what and how you would describe it within 2026 in one word. I only allow you one word.
Shaky.
Okay. John.
Open for business.
Oh, there you go. Controversial the two, but I love it. I love that we have this this balance from both sides. Wonderful. So I would like to thank you so much, John and Sergio, for such a wonderful insights that you have shared today, and everyone else that watches live, but also those that will watch us in the replay session. We're very pleased to have you, both of you. It has been really a very, very wonderful discussion and a lot of insights that we all learned today. As we said, we will be sending the recording. That will be also available for everyone to watch on YouTube, to replay it and see that. For those that have not yet registered, please do register to the Brazil Tech Connect FinTech Week. I will share the link in our chat, and maybe the Brazil Tech Connect team can do that as well. So I would like to once again thank you both, Sergio and John, as well as our wonderful organization supporting us within the Brazil Tech Connect and the Trade Mission, which once again is AB Fintechs, London and Partners, the Department of Business and Trade, Office of Investments, Innovate Finance, Level 39, Canning House, Citigroup, the London Stock Exchange, Gunnar Cook, and EBS. So thank you everyone very much. Please do connect with us in social media, and we look forward to seeing you in London. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.